you very much. And the last one speaker is Elena Imelchenkova, St. Petersburg University. And the report is Chinese for Specific Purpose, State of Art in St. Petersburg University. You're welcome.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I'm sorry, but due to the technical reasons, I have no presentation for my talk today, and I'm going to talk about the challenges that we are facing in St. Petersburg University while teaching Chinese for specific purposes. The expansion of business and scientific cooperation has stimulated an increasing interest for the Chinese studies all over the world. But nowadays, the labor market has special demand for employees that are not only can speak Chinese, fluent Chinese, but also those who are specialized in several fields. And one of the major challenges faced by educational institutions is to offer interdisciplinary courses and full programs. So, and whereas there were only 16 programs for learning Chinese in 2009 in St. Petersburg University, and 14 of them were offered in the Faculty of Oriental and African Studies, then within only 10 years, my university expanded the range of full programs up to 40 programs in different faculties. And today, every 10th educational program in St. Petersburg State University deals with China and different aspects of China's life, combining the most important areas like not only philology and history, but also law, economy, international relationships, tourism, and others. And the number of students starting up to specialization in Chinese studies has already exceeded 1,000 persons. And globalization in China's economic growth led to an increasing demand for Chinese for specific purposes courses in the like Chinese for diplomatic studies, not studies, but relations, Chinese for legal sphere, Chinese for our economy, and others. So therefore, my university offers an increasing number of courses in Chinese law, economy, and other subfields, and it supports the teaching of these studies in the other universities in Russia by organizing and coordinating guest lectures given by the experts in the relevant spheres of China's life. The objectives, the educational materials, the teaching processes as a whole, and the assessment practices all come from the target language uses based on a set of specialized needs. Unlike general language studies, the content and focus of the Chinese for specific purposes instructions are narrowed to a particular array of tasks and skills to develop. The aim of the bachelor program, jurisprudence with in-depth study of the Chinese language and legal system, are twofold. So first, to provide students with the Russian and international legal knowledge and necessary skills for a successful law career, and to expose students to intensive Chinese learning activities in order to improve their cultural and professional competence. Our syllabus is designed to provide learners with a broad introduction to China's legal system, mainly concentrating on examining the laws of modern China, that is after the 1949. Each semester, students are introduced to key features within the major fields of law, including civil, criminal, labor law, civil procedure, legal institutions, court structure, and so on. The learning outcomes of the program are a comprehensive understanding of modern Russia's and China's legal system, a broad but not always deep understanding of key fields of law in modern China. All the courses combine both countries' aspects, Russian and Chinese. It's not a kind of comparative study exactly, but some kind of it. At the end of each course, they have to pass a written exam, usually solving one or two cases in the field of law studied. But all the lectures are supplemented with the tutorials, during which students consider and discuss in detail a specific issue emanating from a field of law. And besides, each year they are supposed to write a coursework, 6,000 to 8,000 words each length, but not a diploma. They do not write a diploma on the fourth year of studies. Prior knowledge of Chinese language is not required for them. So all full programs related to China include Putonghua language courses. And those courses are designed to develop 4 key skills like speaking, reading, writing, and listening, with no specialization during the first 2 years. Language classes in the Faculty of Oriental African Studies involves 14 to 16 hours a week, with a huge self-study between, while other faculties program involve only 6 to 8 hours a week, so that's not too much. And the level of proficiency in Chinese after 4 semesters, after the 2 first years of study, for students studying Chinese philology, that is in the Faculty of Oriental and African Studies, is estimated at the level of HSK 4. And for the students of other programs, it is supposed to be as HSK 3. The language courses offered for junior and senior undergraduates are specific language reading that introduce the student to law, economy, philosophical, historical, and other works in their original language. So it helps to develop their advanced language skills, because they read and process original text in the area they specialize in. Since a learner receiving new information translated on the basis of what he has already known, so only senior undergraduates that have some background knowledge of China and China's legal system can succeed in professional translation. A lack of suitable textbook and other teaching resources in the area of specialization can affect the quality of education, so it's quite a challenge for teachers so far. The success in second language learning is affected by teaching materials rather than learners' personal characteristics. And the role of in-house textbooks in this field seems to be the most important one. The effectiveness of educational materials in legal language often depends on the adequate adaptation of existing learning materials or developing it from scratch. But if teachers are not specialists in law, tailoring text, tailoring exercises could be quite a challenge for them. Since the Russian Chinese textbooks in legal language do not exist so far, we have to settle on a compromise which suits our students' needs and reflects the teacher's view of the second language study. And it has been commonly reported that the students of the first and second year have comprehension difficulties because their language fluency and professional skills and knowledge in law are not sufficient enough. But my own experience revealed that since the receptive vocabulary can have a positive effect on the productive vocabulary of the learners. So it strengthens the relation between lexical competence and reading comprehension. So law students can be exposed to legal lexis instructions in the early stages of Chinese acquisition, to be precise, after a 1 year study. But at this stage, they mainly rely on their knowledge and the experience they have. So the teaching materials should be easy in grammar, including high-frequency basic words on law and
5 minutes.
Thank
Sorry.
you. So the lexis should be limited to the basic words on law, and lexical exercises should be very, very easy, just to practice new law vocabulary they have learned. By the third year, when students already have some language experience and their basic knowledge in law and professional tools are enough to get legal theories they hammered in. In case of going to China for a 1 year study, they are more advanced. So they can read books in Chinese, they can search information online, see Chinese movies, or simply go chatting with Chinese-speaking friends. And as a rule, in this stage, they are able to read and translate not too complex texts from Chinese newspapers into Russian. And during the 4th year, when students expand their passive and active knowledge of Chinese legal terms vocabulary, teaching materials from the Austrian textbook Legal Language Deutsche Chinesische English by Diago Richter can be introduced. But in any case, since terms in the legal language are different in Chinese, Russian, English, and German, a teacher has to develop extra teaching materials for students to learn new vocabulary, to master in the Russian equivalents. Therefore, legal Chinese can make overwhelming demand on a teacher in terms of research and materials development, since any Chinese for specific purposes course should incorporate linguistics and content area knowledge that is specific to a particular context based on the needs of the learner. And the last point to be added to my overview of the St. Petersburg University Chinese syllabus. Today, when the traditional educational model has been replaced by the concept of lifelong learning, our university is actively involving the promotion of accessible high quality online education, including Chinese language courses, and especially Chinese for specific purposes that can be helpful in case of the lack of experience and qualified teaching staff in this field. So the challenge about Chinese for specific purposes that we are facing now in Russia is not only developing a good and reasonable textbook of legal Chinese, but probably a combination of modern educational offline materials and a specific online course of this kind in this sphere. So that's what I want to share with you, dear colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elena. Dear colleagues, and now we have 25 minutes for questions. Do you have any questions? Maybe you can write if you have. It seems there's no questions.
Sorry, colleagues, I got a question to Maria Rukodelnikova.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you use hieroglyphs like characters riddles in your lessons? And if so, from what level? Starting from what level Can't hear you.
Sorry. From the very beginning, we use hieroglyphics writing, hieroglyphics in our textbook.
I mean riddles, like quizzes, like
These quizzles with hieroglyphics.
yeah.
As a fifth form and some from the very beginning, yes.
Do you create them by your own, or you use those from the Chinese culture? Because there are plenty of them, and the Chinese people usually used to ask for riddles during the New Year Eve or during New Year celebration.
We create their own. Sometimes we use from Chinese culture some quizzle, but at the very beginning, not from
Yeah,
Chinese.
they have to be very, very easy. Yeah.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Maybe. Thank you.
And now Artemy Mikhailovich is speaking. That is why
We want to hear his
support
presentation and
him.
support him. Yes.
if you
Если нет вопросов.
if you don't have any question,
Could you tell us which panel we have to switch to?
The section number 2, yes?
the section
Number.
Yeah, but we are in panel 2. Which panel?
No, just a moment. Just a moment. Down to that's.
I guess it's panel 1.
Panel
Okay, let's switch to panel 1.
Yes.
yes, it's panel 1.
Okay,
We all are
let's
going
meet
to
at
panel 1.
Let's meet there.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.